Welcome to Bitcoin Technical Analysis. I'm here today with Tone Vays from Brave New Coin, George Samman from Semantics.com, and BTCVIX from Whale Club. How's it going, guys?
Pretty good,
Thanks for having us.
Excellent. Yeah, there's been a lot of movement in the markets, as well as the Bitcoin market and the altcoin market. So, George, what do you have for us today?
Yeah, I'll start off with a little altcoin, Ether. So, we talked last week about it, and it ran up, and it looked like it was getting parabolic, and we said that it would probably sell off, and it sold off pretty soon, but it didn't drop dramatically at first. But right now, on the 4-hour, I'm looking at what looks like a potential, and not a great one, but a double head and shoulders top forming. As you can see around here, this 440 mark is starting to break down, and if it breaks below here, it's probably going to break pretty hard. So I think the longer term chart still looks all right, but I think we're in trouble here and probably going to go lower. Of course, here is our US dollar chart, which we talk about a lot, and it found support at its 200-day moving average and kind of had a tower's bottom there and has been going up since. Right now it's below its 100-day and finding resistance up there. But what I would say about it is that this is not really something that you can trade in here unless it starts to break above resistance levels. So right now it's just bouncing back after the carry trade got smashed. But I wouldn't say this is something you want to trade right now. And as a result of that, we've seen the euro bounce lower. The U.S. dollar, the euro and U.S. dollar trade inversely, and we're seeing right now that the euro is bouncing, is going down as a result of that. It's at a level where, again, I wouldn't be trading it either. This stuff is all kind of just unwinding and correlating in the ways that they do. This is the yuan onshore, offshore. And as you can see here, this line here is the onshore, and it was set at about 650 for a while, and then the Chinese wanted to smash it down to get below the offshore again. So that's what they've been doing. We've talked about this in the past and how it relates to Bitcoin, and that correlation has kind of gone away in recent weeks. But this is more about Chinese monetary policy and them trying to control their currency. Again, I don't think that they're going to be able to do it in a way that they want to, but they're trying as much as they can, and they're really being controlled in this sense by what other central banks are doing and how the currencies of other countries are acting. So they're kind of playing catch up in this sense and reacting. So here's the dollar versus the ruble, and as you can see, the ruble hasn't really gained any ground on USD since the USD went down. And the reason why is because of oil. Oil still hasn't really truly bottomed. I mean, maybe it has, maybe it hasn't, but the up move hasn't started. And as a result of that, the ruble and other commodity currencies still aren't bouncing like they should have when the dollar went down. So now the dollar's strong again, they're suffering again. So this is really a story of a lot of these currencies like this, the Aussie dollar, the ZAR, that they need a commodity bottom in order to really stabilize. Here is the Shanghai, and it had a big day yesterday, 3%. But again, this is in no man's land. Right now, I'd say the bottom is somewhere around 2,800, this latest range. But other than that, I mean, there's no real support until 2,600. Again, this is nothing really to get excited about except to look at as it pertains to Bitcoin. And it's been a downtrend while Bitcoin's kind of been in an uptrend. And then here we go to interest rates, and this is the 10-year. What we saw was what we looked like last week. We talked about that piece right there, and that looked like it was forming a bottom. In bar chart terms, this is called an island reversal, and this is a pretty significant move here. So it looks like we probably have found at least a bottom for now in the 10-year, and probably all rates going forward, meaning that yields should probably rise, if anything, in a reflexive rally. But right now, we're looking at that as a place to say that this is a pretty significant bottom. The Japanese 10-year is also the same thing. Went down negative as we talked about, and it's really been going higher. This has been the result of the Japanese stock market going up as well, trying to find a bottom. But again, These are just things where they've broken so hard that right now it's just a counter trend rally. Same thing can be said about the German 10-year as well. Again, these things are still at really, really low yields. It's just incredible. And this is a 1-year chart of the U.S. dollar. And again, it fell after it went up in anticipation of the Fed rate hike and has kind of been trying to find its footing. It's fallen off. And again, this is just more of everyone thinking of what's going to happen with U.S. rates and the fact that they can't raise, or at least the markets don't think they'll raise 4 times in the next year. And then just to talk about, last week we talked about the SPYs and how we saw that divergence, and it looked like it was going to bounce, and it did. So let's see what we are seeing in the other risk-on assets, just to kind of get a barrier how far this move can go. Well, the IWM isn't really taking off as it should. I mean, it's definitely looks like it's coming off of a bottom, but it hasn't taken off. And usually this smaller caps lead the larger caps. So unless this starts improving, we have to worry about how far this rally goes. But the other thing that's been interesting is the VIX. It never really, really went up in all that panic and fear that we saw, and that led to the oversold condition. And it's falling today. I'd like to see it start to fill this gap here and fall lower. Once it gets to around 20, then we should probably start to see more of a risk-on trade starting to form. Right now, we're still trapped in that range, and that's all I have for right now. Thank you.
All right. I think did we lose Theo? I know I'm next anyway, so we'll just dive in a little bit deeper into USD JPY. So let's start all the way out at like the monthly of where we're looking here. I had more of a target of this 109.7 level here, excuse me, for a really good support level to look at picking up along. But we did stop here. There's some support certainly on the monthly here. And if we go ahead and zoom in a little bit, weekly, we do have, this is a new weekly and monthly candle. So we pushed into this order block and we got rejected out of it. Slight bounce this week. Definitely doesn't have me getting extremely bullish, but there was some risk on going into this week, so we've seen kind of like a more of a relief rally. I just want to point out here quickly, if we come into the daily of USD JPY, we can look at we got basically some Willy divergence here. And to me, Willy divergence is the strongest of all the divergences. So to me, when I started witnessing this, I was looking for basically longs in USD JPY this week, and that's mostly what I've been doing as far as scalping. Now, MACD hasn't put in that divergence, so mostly with a bottoming pattern, is this going to start to get kind of choppy here, and we're going to see something, something probably like this before we come out. My arrows are all funky. But so that basically kind of sums up USD JPY. I was looking at this level up here of 15.7 if we really got aggressive on the bounce to maybe either be looking at shorts up here into this level. So then we'll just back out to Bitcoin. Bitcoin actually has been moving pretty good. So here's our daily chart. We got a BBAM breakout. I don't have Bitcoin Wisdom up right now. Took off up to the upside, and we've basically hit kind of the back test on this resistance order block up here. So it'll be interesting to see. We might be in holding pattern until around after settlement, but this could be a kind of a fireworks show on the weekend with Bitcoin. I did want to quickly pull up USD CNH, the offshore yuan, which I think is putting up some conflicting signs on the fundamental side with Bitcoin. So we certainly see that with the depreciating yuan, we've seen Bitcoin rally, and now we're actually getting some strength in the yuan. So I think there's a little bit of conflicting fundamental stories going on there, and as well as George alluding to that bounce in the Shanghai Composite. So I'm really kind of holding and waiting for that resistance block to break on Bitcoin before I get a little bit more interested. And that's all I have.
Over at OKCoin, BTCCNY, on the weekly chart, the lagging line of the Ichimoku has exited the Kumo cloud on the weekly chart. And that's a pretty significant event that has not happened in a really long time. And that is a bullish confirmation signal. However, the price has not been able to break out and close on the weekly above this 3,000 level. So let's see what happens in the future, if it breaks above there or if it continues sideways or even sideways down and still stays above the weekly cloud. Okay, now for today's sponsors. Vaulturo, combining the oldest and the newest, directly trade gold and Bitcoin, bank independent. Instant trading, 1 milligram of gold trading, the lowest minimum in the industry. And also orderbook.net, in business since 2011. Orderbook has been trading Bitcoin futures since 2011, being the first Bitcoin futures ever created. Check them out, orderbook.net, and trade some Bitcoin futures. I want to thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, World Crypto Network. Give us thumbs up and comments below. Thanks for watching.